Today we are going to work on more backgrounds together. So if you haven't seen my first video about this, go back, check that out. That talks more about drawing perspective, horizon lines, and all that. So that's a good one to watch before this. If you've already seen that, then go ahead and watch this one with me. So this one's actually simpler in some ways and maybe a little trickier in others. We're going to start this the same way. I'm going to fold the paper long ways, and so I can make the horizon line, and I'm putting that up high. So what that means is we're going to see more of the ground and less of the sky. All right, I'm putting in a big curved line here. That's where the ocean meets the shore. And now along the horizon line, I'm going to put a series of tall triangles. So these are going to be all a little bit different sizes, and they'll be overlapping. You can kind of make up how you want this to look. Usually what looks the most natural is to do just kind of different sizes spaced out. So you don't want the same size over and over and then one tiny one, or tiny, large, tiny, large. It shouldn't look like a pattern. All right, then I'm going to go in and draw kind of like that foaminess over the line for where the water meets the shore, and add a couple more lines in here too. So we've got more of that wavy water look, not just like a perfect line. Next up, now we've got our major elements in there. I'm going to go back to these triangles and turn them into mountains. So I want these in like a tall kind of cliff style. So I'm doing a lot of kind of rough edges, and as I'm going, I'm making decisions about which mountains are closer and which ones are pushed back. So if you struggle with figuring out how to do that, you can just go ahead and copy mine. This just kind of, the more you do it, the more you kind of figure it out. And then I'm kind of doing a rough line around the bottom to connect them a little bit better. Okay, now I want some long clouds. So these aren't the cumulus type that are really puffy. These are the kind of long drawn out sort of cirrus clouds. And just because I want to look at this a little better, I'm going to go ahead and erase some of these sketchy lines, my initial lines from the mountains, so I can see that better. I'll put a little sun peeking through the clouds. Then I feel like we need some stuff in the foreground. So since we've got them jagged kind of mountains in the background, I'm going to put some rocky, like a little bit of a rocky shore up here in the foreground too. So kind of picture these mountains sort of wrapping around and getting really small as we get closer to us. But since they are close to us, these elements are actually pretty big. So these are kind of small rocks, right? But they're really close, a lot closer to us. So they're you can see more detail. They're a little bit bigger. I also want to add some interesting little things in here. So I'm going to put a starfish, and you can say, so it's kind of laying on the rock. So that flat part on the top, it's on that and then sort of resting off the side. I'm also going to draw a little shell right here on the other rock. This also gives us the indication that these things are up close, right? Because we can actually see that. If that starfish was all the way at the other end of the beach near those mountains, we wouldn't see it at all because it's too far away. Now I'm putting in some circles, some overlapping circles here kind of behind the rock. So this is a plant that's growing over there, kind of like sea grapes. And I did them overlapping in my sketch, but now I decide which ones actually overlap the others. Like which ones do we see the whole leaf and which ones do we see only part of it. All right, and now I want to make that look a little bit more like a plant, so I'm putting in a few lines there to indicate that. Okay, so we've got the whole beach in there now, and from here I just want to add a little bit more. So in the mountains, towards the bottom, there are a ton of trees. That's what I'm deciding here. So I'm just kind of putting this rough outline here of all these trees. Okay, so that's all in, and now I'm just going to go over all my lines with my special pen. This is my Copic pen. You can use a marker or color pencil, that works pretty well too. But I like to do this so I can just have nice clean lines, and once those are all done, then I go in and erase all my pencil lines. It's kind of like a 3-part process. So just remember, erasing is just part of the process. It doesn't necessarily mean you made a mistake. Sometimes it does, but mostly it's just like you're figuring it out. So it's not about making mistakes. All right, so remember to kind of hold the paper carefully as you're erasing so it doesn't crinkle up. And that's kind of why I'm moving mine all around too, so I can hold it with my one hand and erase with the other in the right direction. Okay, that's it. We are finished. I hope you enjoyed this beach drawing with me today. I want to come back with some more background, so if you have suggestions on things you'd like to draw, let me know. Otherwise, I will make it up as usual, and see you again next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye.